Chaotic greetings to you. Have you ever looked at your child's drawing and go, gee, I want to wear that? Well, I didn't used to because, bless my child, but it was a little too abstract for me. However, when I told my child that I wanted to be a cheese witch at the Renaissance Fair in 2 weekends, they immediately started drawing all of these different options for me. And so today, I am going to make one of them. So let's take a look at my options. Her top 3 were the Feta Witch, the Gouda Witch, and the Gruyere Witch. And in proper Stephanie form, I can't actually choose. So what I did is I went to my members and my Patreons and I said, help me please! So they got to pick which dress I'm about to make. And the members have spoke. The winner is Gouda! I'm gonna be the Gouda Witch, so who's the bad witch? And with that decided, let's get started. Now, as per the conversation with my artist child, the dress is actually just one base color, not the two-tone that you see here. The darker yellow was more of a shading / they picked the wrong color. So it is a high-low dress that has a bit more fullness at the back. The red actually around the neckline is going to be a neck corset into a cape style with 3 layers of red sparkly fabric. The hat might be the most challenging because it's basically a wheel of Gouda with a little witch point along the backside. And let's talk about the fabrics that I'm going to be using today. Yes, I did thrifting, and yes, unfortunately, Goodwill truly is the closest thrift store to me. I don't like it either because I do not own like a butter yellow cream situation. It's not a color I usually use, and that's where these come in. Not 1, but 2 cream colored curtain panels that are 100% cotton. Oh God, I'm sorry if that hit the mic. And yeah, I did have to pay Goodwill prices for them, so they were actually $9.99 for the set, but at least they weren't tagged individually, which is what my Goodwill loves to do. So this will be the dress. Now, for the cape situation thing, I know that I have a lot of red velvet from the Grinch project left over. Come here. The idea of wearing velvet in Florida when it's going to be 85 degrees makes me want to shrivel and shrink into the puddle of sweat that I would be in Fort Lauderdale. So we're not going to be doing that now. And that's where this bag comes in. This is a giant red circular poly satin fabric because remember, satin is a weave, not fiber content. This is a polyester satin, so the fibers are made so they're shiny. And I'm gonna get real hot in this too, but hopefully not as bad as velvet. And thankfully this giant thing was only $6. So, and I mean like, this is gigantic, this is huge. This is taller than me. Yeah, it's got a little bit of like pull situations happening here. Great news, I don't care. This will be that top layer and potentially the first drop down because it looks like in the drawing that one's like solid. But now that I have most of the fabrics found, let's go ahead and do the most important step, which is to wash all this stuff because from Goodwill and any other thrift store, you should definitely be washing it because they don't, they just potentially spray it and then put it on the shelves. So go wash your fabric before you use it, especially if you've thrifted it. Time to wash the fabric. Wash the fabric. Wash your fabric. Don't worry, the trim got a bath too.
Good soup.
And with everything clean and dry, it was time to cut things out. Now this vintage slit pattern was not my size, so here in Brady Bunch style are all the changes that I made. And then because I love unprinted patterns just so much, I was able to draw on one side, and then I was able to hold it up to the window to transfer my markings to the other side. And hey, it's sewing time, y'all. Now that I've done a lot of good work, let's go ahead and get some rest with the sponsor of today's video, NOLA Mattress. And in case you haven't heard of them before, NOLA is an award-winning mattress brand known for its cooling technology, exceptional pressure relief, and long-lasting durability. And bonus, it's shipped directly to your door for free. Now, in case this is your first video with me, it is not NOLA's. I have been sponsored by them for many a time, and I love my mattress. Because I am a side sleeper, and so NOLA's Evolution Comfort Plus was the perfect model for me and my husband. We both live in larger bodies, and it's one of those things that you do actually have to take into account, and NOLA took care of us. And one of my favorite things about the company is that not only was it shipped to my door for free, but it is supremely easy to set up. It's as easy as open up the box, cut off the plastic, let it rise like the glorious loaf of bread, mattress that it is, and then sleep on it. And if you are concerned about the longevity of your mattress and if you wouldn't like it after a couple months, they do offer a 120-day sleep trial. Which means that you get a little over 3 months to ensure that you love it. Plus, NOLA has a limited lifetime warranty, as well as financing options and flexible payment plans. And if you want to become part of the NOLA mattress family, make sure that you head to nolamattress.com/Stephanie Canada and use my code Stephanie Canada for $50 off of your mattress. And thank you again to NOLA for sponsoring today's video, but now I think it's time to crawl in there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
The next day.
Now, my original fit did not work well, so I had to make some adjustments. And honestly, I forgot to record most of this, so this is all you really get. And after I finished sewing up the darts, it was time for bed. The dog in this video was compensated for his time.
The next day.
And the next day woke up with me realizing that the Grinch project might actually come in real handy here. Yoink. Because you see, the hat was actually the most important part of this entire make, to read that I was cheese. And no, I don't just mean cheesy with my bad jokes. You're welcome for those. So what I decided to do was to repurpose the body of my Grinch coat, which never really fit, so it didn't really matter, into the brims of my hat. Because it literally was the only piece of felt that was stiffened that was large enough to do this. So I did use a circle calculator online to get my radius for my noggin. And well, the first one I used, was very wrong. That's literally wrong. So I tried a different one, which was much better. And since I have a 24-inch head, that was 3.5 inches. Yeah, I was like, there's no f***ing way. So I marked on my fabric and got to cutting. And with a quick test fit to make sure it didn't look absolutely insane or was too small, I moved on to finding out the outside circumference of my hat, because I needed to make a rectangle long enough to connect my two brims. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that just went smoothly. I didn't cut any of them 5 inches wide because I made strips so that I can make a Gouda hat. So it's not, yes, it's gonna be a giant cheese hat, I'm aware. Wisconsinites, calm down. But when I was using my super cool, where'd it go? Rotary cutter, electric scissor thingy to cut through felt, because that's really what it does, just absolutely spectacularly. I have to remember that because it does it so well, you must make sure the table is completely flippin' clear. Dad not supposed to do that. So I've had a stroke of hopefully genius. I'm gonna cut this away. I'm gonna make it a little pie shape. Don't ask me how I'm gonna stitch this, I have no idea. And then we're gonna add in a little bit of white. I'm gonna paint it tonight to look like cheese. That's how I'm gonna get away from the fact that I cut my freaking hat that I only have this much red. I mean, I have other red felt. I just don't want to use it because it'd be too floppy, and at least this stuff is already vaguely reinforced. It's not great, I'm aware. That's how I'm fixing this. Yeah. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled chaos of figuring out what a cheese slice would look like and how the heck I'm gonna stitch it. Because I don't know. So I started with some white felt, Cut out a 5x4 rectangle and then rounded one side. Okay, this time I'm going to cut it out with scissors so that I don't do what I just did. And I need to make 2 of those because one needs to go on either side of this brand new hat accessory edition. It's fine. And while I have the confidence of a snail looking down at a pile of salt in that moment, it was actually going to be fine, and I cut out 4 of these pieces. Okay, all those pieces are cut out. I will cut the little like divot out. I'm debating. No, I've got to do it on both sides. So then I'm going to use this like non-spray starched extra red felt that I have for like the cone situation that she had in the drawing. Is it a different color? A little, but it's not terrible. So I'm going to just willy-nilly cut out a cone here because it'll be fine. It's supposed to like droop. She doesn't want it to be like a standing witch hat, so it's going to be like droopy on the side. So actually that benefits me if my cone isn't exactly perfect. But I am going to use this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, when I make my cone, that'll be the other way around. Yeah, that should work, right?
No.
I'm going to put my little hat insert here, which was the circumference of my head. And then I'm going to use this, once I fold it into 4s, to be the bottom of my cone. Because when I cut it out, this one was smaller, but I need the seam allowance. So I'm going to use this one, which was like probably an inch bigger because I'm a menace. It's fine. And then that will hopefully help me attach it to the top. How tall do I want it to be? Great question. I don't know that answer. I'm just going to wing it. Well, this won't do. I did mention we were moving fast, right? Fold it once this way. Fold it once this way. If I go like that, it's the wrong way. So I need to go like... What? I just need a cone. That's all I need. This might have been too much. Too much chaos. Because, like, this is how we get this angle. But I need that angle. But that's not going to work. Okay, plan B. I did find this online, but it was for a 23-inch head, which is not my size. But I should be able to make this cone work. So let's piece this crap together real fast. So this is 8, 7, and I should need 4. Yeah. That. Okay, I'm going to cut that out. And yes, dear friends, even the chaos Soa sometimes can fix her own mistakes, because I had not put it on the fold line, so I did turn it over. Did this actually make a difference? I really don't think so. It's fine. And with another dry fit, this time of the cone, I moved into sewing mode. Because did I mention that this is actually the day before Ren Fair, and I need to get this done. There. Ring sizer. I can see a straight pen on the floor from over here. The floor was lava, and I didn't even know it. Right there. Got it. I think that's about as good as we're gonna get. You're welcome for this insane angle. Also, it looks like a giant dunce cap right now, so we're not here for that. But that's not the important part. The important part that I have this together. I did not start an audio, so sorry. But now I need to kind of gather all my pieces and take this to MegaCon to go hand sew this together, because yes, indeed, today is MegaCon day, and oops, I'll be hand sewing at any panel I go to. Welcome to Saturday at MegaCon. Oh, mercy. Now, you see, this would have been an absolutely perfect plan because I actually had a panel that I was waiting to go to, which was the 4 Hobbits. Yes, it was amazing. However, I forgot the most important thing when hand sewing. You must have a hand sewing needle with you. So I hauled this bag full of hat, pins, scissors, all the way through MegaCon for basically nothing, because I just sat there and pinned the entire time waiting for the panel to start. Well, I didn't get my daughter's drawing as done as I wanted. And by as done, I mean I only got really the hat done. And done is a question mark because really the top wasn't done because I forgot to calculate that the circumference of the top of the hat is different than the bottom of the hat. So there's a huge hole that I just kind of shoved red felt into. It's fine. It worked for the fair because look, I did actually go. However, that was not the promise of this video. I promised you a video where I made the dress that my child made me as close as possible. And, well, the Ren Fair look, while it accomplished Gouda, it did not accomplish the goal. So today, we're going to, well, fix the giant mess that I made when I was making this at actually 1 a.m. before I went to the Ren Fair, and then I shall endeavor to finish this. But truthfully, I don't have time for a time lapse, so here we go in 3, 2, 1. All right. Not bad, actually. And now the room is, listen, it's not clean, but it's better and I can breathe. There's not, patterns on the floor and schmutz, the schmugana on the table. Those aren't words. But you know what I mean. Like, okay, even though I'm about to make it messy again, at least it's a better starting point. So let's get started with the easy thing, which is wrapping up this dress. All right. No, my coffee is over there. I didn't actually get my coffee on it. We have the lacing thing that is absolutely not designed for this, but that's what I'm using it for, because it's just going to be for like a gentle ribbon. It's not like, not corset, god-awful scene in Wuthering Heights shenanigans. That's not what we're doing here. But what I need to do is I need to take one side here. I need to figure out which one of these goes where, because I wanted the straight, I think, along the front, because she had the back more billowy. So this side here is the front, this side here is the back. Yes, I'm aware it's going to make it look weird. It's fine. But the trick is to lay that there, to lay the, wowzers, WTF, mate. Where are all my slightly shitty scissors at? I call them that because they made it through the giant estate sale cutting of 2023 and 2024. So listen, they earned their title. It's fine. I need to put it where I'm gonna stitch. So like here-ish. So I can stitch along this, because then I have to do a sandwich situation here. Like that. I know you can't see that right now, but like this way, the goal is that these are the only things that are visible. So I'm just gonna start pinning. And you know what? I just need to let go of the fact that if this is a little weird, it's gonna be okay, because I'm gonna be laced. Like, I will be able to lace this closed. So I will just follow wherever I pin this. And that's just gonna be how this is. All right, and I will see you when this is done. Right now. All right, it is all pinned. Yes, all 4 sides, because I can't be bothered. I think I forgot to trim off this edge. Yeah, somehow I made my pieces like solid 5 inches too long. So I'm gonna trim this real fast. And then we're gonna hop onto the sewing machine, and I'm gonna be very real with you. This is a whole bunch of straight stitches. I'm gonna take approximately 3 shots so that I don't bore the crap out of you, because we are going to get to the interesting part, which is the cape next. And I feel like this part is basically done. My finishes are going to be questionable. So just know that. This is a relatively tightly woven cotton. I did cut it with pinking shears. High likelihood it's gonna be a single turn. Don't do that. Do a double turn or use bias tape. But in my case, no, I'm just gonna single turn this and move on. So there you go. Make better choices than me. But my best choice is always to have Halloween in my heart year round. And thankfully that didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, even though it was a little tedious to make sure that I had all the trim where it was supposed to be. Then it was time to dig into my ribbon bin, which is at best a giant bucket just full of ribbon halfway-heartedly shoved in there where it's been dropped a few times, but I was able to find some ribbon that looked the same cream color as the fabric. So I could melt the end of the ribbons just like the melting hearts of when Frankie Sinatra would sing his songs. And so with those ends sufficiently melted, it was time to feed it through my lace trim. So now with this base layer done, that means it is time to do the hard part, which is the cape situation. And I do actually have a pattern that I think might work for this. So you see that little neck thing right there? I think I'm gonna try and look at the pieces for this and see if this will work. And if that doesn't work, because now that I'm looking at this, I think it has raglan sleeves and I really don't want to deal with raglan sleeves. Actually, I don't want to deal with any sleeves. I just want it to be like cape, line across, ruffle, 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 ruffle. As far as the flare out of those go, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like those ruffle cap sleeves, but make them way bigger without quite that much ruffling, which, fun fact, in a vintage pattern, actually, when you have the line here and the gentle curve goes that way, you're actually gathering the curve and the straight edge. As in modern ones, they like to run it on the straight side, which doesn't give you the same tension. I'm wondering now, do I actually want the modern style? I might need to gather along the straight side and then just drape however I want to drape. I don't know, or I just cut up a whole bunch of rectangles and call it a day. We're gonna find out what happens, because I don't know yet. Good morning. From me and the cape that I definitely wore to the Ren Fair that is now about to become a different cape with, hopefully less accoutrement from the Ren Fair. I might have brought home some grass here, just a skosh. Because I did tie two basically twill tape situations on here. And this is how we wore this, was like this, where I tied it under my arms and around my back. And I didn't install them evenly, but this is now going to be the base for the project of the day, which is the cape part of this. And I slept on it. This is lovely. This is not what I need. This is what I need. This is my cape pattern that I used back when I tried to sew a cape on a plane. I'm about to make a cape on a plane. Capes on a plane! Sort of like snakes on a plane, but safer. No one watched it, here we are. But I'm gonna use it again, because I still have that cape and I really like it, but we're gonna go ahead and make this one now. Because I'm not gonna actually alter this pattern, I have no desire, but I am gonna use it as a basis to basically cut this off right here-ish. I just need like the top like 5 or 6 inches. That's all I need. We're gonna go from there and see how that works. Acknowledging that I'm gonna have to figure out the curve on my own because I know it's not red, but when you already sell this amazing sheer AB glitter nonsense from the 80s, 70s probably. This is probably 70s. But like, she's got a good body, she's got good flow, and she's already glittery. So therefore, yeah, that's gonna be that top layer where you can see the sparkle that my kid put in. And I think I'm gonna try and get away with just using the selvage because I want it to flow and I don't really want it to have, I don't want it to have much weight. And if I use the selvages and decide I don't like it in the future, I can't just do a double turn hem and not have to worry about it. And then, yeah, Michaels, if you can believe it, the man in the craft realm finally had some freaking garment fabric that I'm pretty sure might have just been on bolts from Joann's, but I don't care. They actually had a red sheer chiffon. Can you believe it?
No.
They finally have something that isn't quilting cotton. I might have gotten a little excited in the actual store. Oh no, this is the selvage that has the stupid holes punched into it. But this is gonna be the other 2 layers, and hopefully layering this on this will make it look less burnt orange. She says, holding it up next to each other and realizing it's very much not, but I don't care, I'm still gonna use it. Also, there's still some of this available on my website. You know, if you want some, go forth. We have the fabrics, we have the pattern, so let's get going. And I wanted to start out with the sparkle fabric so that I could actually know exactly how long I wanted it to be. I did count it out and decided to cut 9 inches in width, leaving me an 8-inch drop because I was going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance on the top and the bottom. And as I didn't want to use too much yardage, I did just cut about a 1 yard cut and then cut it in half so I could have one singular front panel and 2 back half panels. And then yes, if you can believe it, I actually did a French seam. That's right, don't turn the channel. I did in fact do French seams for this wiggly patootie fabric. So after I sewed the 2 wrong sides together, I trimmed my excess seam allowance down to 1/4 of an inch. Then I folded it on itself and sewed it right sides together so that I got a nice little enclosed seam. Then it was time to deal with the chiffon, and I was pretty much eyeballing the lengths that I would need to cut from this fabric.
18, 9. What if I do every 9 inches? 9, 18, 27. Sure, why not?
Houston, we may have a problem here because, why does this look so good?
It's really hard to capture on camera, but it's like gently sparkly, and the rest of the... Sir? Sir, that's Mama's fabric. Sir! But like, it matches the rest of it, and still has the sparkle.
Well, crap. How long is that extra piece? Hang on, let's go find out. How wide are you? Ooh. 9 inches.
A few moments later.
Okay, I love when I accidentally forget what size it is because look at this, look at this, look at this. This is what we're doing.
Look at how pretty that is, and then you won't be able to tell that one of them is like a burnt orange versus the rest of the reds. This is what we're doing. Subtle sparkle. Subtle sparkle.
Well, it is now a little before 2. I'm gonna spend the next half hour just sewing straight lines. Literally my least favorite thing to do. On slippery fabric to boot. Now, dear viewer, there was a brief moment where I thought I was going to do a blind hem for the hems along these rectangles.
Why can't I remember this? One of these days I'll actually remember how to do this. Was today that day? No, it was not.
And I searched, and I searched, and I thought about it, and I thought a little bit longer about it, and then I decided...
Overlock. Lined hem. Rad. Oh, mother of God, I gotta fold it the other way. There you go. So sorry for knocking the clock out of the way. Like, logically, this should work.
Screw it. That's what I decided. And I just did a straight stitch. That's when it was finally time to bust out my cape pattern that I used to basically shorten it up and make it into this half cape that my child wanted. At this point, I was deeply considering wondering if this would actually work.
Well, the only way to find out is to sew it up.
So I got started sewing, and then I noticed something.
Oh my God. Oh no.
This is why you use microtex needles, kids. Look at the giant frickin' holes in this shit. Oh well! And in case you were confused and thought I was handling this well...
Oh my God. Hated every minute of that.
A few moments later.
Hi, let me be so clear. All of this stuff is now hemmed. And I'm reminded why I really like working with cottons. That is, I think, what she wanted. That'll sit up there, maybe up here. Okay, so I gotta take it up another What do we think? 2 inches is there. Oh no, 2 inches. 2 inches more. Okay, now I have to ruffle this thing. I don't wanna. This is a lot and annoying. Did I mention it's annoying? But it didn't matter how annoying that fabric was to sew because what mattered was finishing my kiddo's design. It's done. And listen, I've made stranger things, but this one is right on up there. And yes, I will do a full reveal here in a moment, but you do have to wait just a little bit longer because this is challenging at best. You see, I chose, in my infinite wisdom, to use a very loosely woven tablecloth. Now, here's the thing. I have used tablecloths before. Tablecloths, a lot of the times, work lovely. Not this thing. This satiny bit right here can rot from whence it came. Because let me tell you, I don't usually do French seams on this channel. That's not a thing I usually do. Because usually I'm working with a relatively densely woven cotton or rayon, and it usually doesn't merit that. Yeah, I had to French seam this entire freaking garment. That, like, the cape situation, whole thing is French seam, basically. Or double turn hem. Yeah! Really not great. Also, learned, once you get up to 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of chiffon plus satin, that doesn't want to gather anymore. No, it sure doesn't. So I just did basically like pleat tucks instead because, oh my God. So there's been a lot of learning on this project. There's been a lot of frustration. There's been a lot of stubbornness because, well, at the end of the day, do I want to iron every single seam to make it work the way I want to? No, I just want it to work the way I want to. However, reality doesn't work that way, Canada. Honestly, it was a fun challenge to try and put this outfit that my child, who is 11, drew and turn it into reality. So that part was super fun. It was on me for poor fabric decisions. And honestly, the chiffon that I bought at Michael's, not bad. Would do that again. It's the tablecloth. That's where the real problem was. That and my inability to hem a fine fabric when I forgot I was out of fine needles. So I ordered them and they're not here yet. So I had to raw dog it with a regular needle. And yeah, it's just, we're glad this is a costume. It's fine. And if you would like to get yourself a new mattress so that you may sleep comfortably after you watch the reveal that's coming, make sure that you are scanning the QR code here or clicking the link down in my bio and use my code StephanieCanada to get an extra $50 off of your next mattress. But you've been patient long enough, and I cannot cheese you how much I appreciate you breeing to the end of the video. Yes, I know those both didn't work, but go with me. And now let's go check out the Gouda Witch. Because you see, hello, where's the thingy? Oh my god, come undone. You're just twill tape.
Ugh, this was supposed to go smoother than this. Oh my god, stop it.
Not nearly as graceful as I'd hoped.